Hello, this is Carrie with Cookbook Divas, and today I'm not talking about cookbooks, I am talking about books, books that you can read. I am also a book blogger, although I don't have a very busy book talk or booktube presence, but I'm currently at Cookbook Divas Shops is where I put my book content, and you can shop for all of these books on Amazon on my storefront, which is linked below, amazon.com/shop/cookbookdivas. And if you purchase some of these things, I get a small affiliate commission that helps support our main site, Cookbook Divas. I'm going to start off this live chat with mentioning that the camera you're watching me on is a Logitech Brio. It's a little bit of an older model. It's from 2017, so it's 40% off. Works great for me. It's not super crisp, but I've been using it for years. I like the way it looks, and I'm not trying to stream in 4K right now, but it can do that. So sometimes on YouTube, we stream in 4K, which actually lets you see my wrinkles even more close up. Ah, I'm a grandma. So we are on Amazon Live, where I'm going to start off the conversation, but I would love to have you join us on Amazon Live or over here on YouTube in the comments if you have something nice to say. Let's make sure I am getting the conversation started off over on Amazon. I hope some of my regulars will come over and say hello. Hello from Cookbook Divas. Let's shop for books. All right, this is my first live stream this month. It's the end of the month. I've been super busy and my birthday is in a couple days, so I thought I would look at books that I bought for myself for my birthday. Also, I wanted to mention I'm using a newer ring light, but there's also a lot of natural light coming in through the window, and I just bumped my microphone and almost muted myself. It is a Shure MV7 USB microphone that I bought myself for Christmas. Let me know if you can hear me okay. So we're going to jump through this stack of books, and I'm going to talk a little bit about the Snow White novelization. One of the rare instances where I don't have something good to say about a book. I'll let you know why I kind of don't like it, but you might want to grab it anyway. So we're going to try to find the books in order of the product carousel that's below me if you're watching on desktop, or next to me if you're watching on phone over on Amazon. If you're on YouTube, you can come shop over here at the live stream on Amazon, or just watch for fun. So the first book I wanted to chat with you about today, I have not read this one. I tend to be a book shopper and book buyer, and I am a book reader, and I do finish a book just about every day, despite my busy life as an entrepreneur, workaholic, and I work at a food pantry too, volunteer. But I do finish a book about every day, but I'm reading 25 books at a time, and I haven't started this one yet. I'm guilty of possibly buying this for the cover because it's gorgeous. It is The Secret Service of Tea and Treason, and it's a little more silly than I usually do. Two rival spies in, I believe, the Regency era must brave pirates and witches and fake matrimony to save the Queen. Known as Agent A, Alice is the top operative within the agency of undercover note takers. I'd like to point out that when I was in school, I frequently got busted for writing notes and passing them in class. I had a lot to say. It figures that I grew up to be a writer. Anyway, I feel like this is one of a series. It is book 3 of 3 Dangerous Damsels, but they're all standalone, so you can read one at a time and still get the point of what's going on. The first one is The Wisteria Society of Lady Scoundrels. And is that the recent one? No, that's the first one. And I think the Secret Service of, yes, the second one is The League of Gentlemen Women Witches. And this is the third one, The Secret Service of Tea and Treason. It looks like a fun read, perhaps a little too spy-y, detective-y for me. And I don't think it's Regency era. I think it's Victorian era, just guessing by the way the maid is dressed. I don't know. So I have not read this one, but I wanted to mention it because it is currently on sale today. The Kindle version is still around $11, but the paperback is $12.57. Is it on sale? Yes, it's 34% off today because it's still Amazon's big spring sale today, and you don't have to be a Prime member to get the deals this time around because it's not Amazon Prime Day. It's the big spring sale, and I'm a little tongue-tied today. Am I possibly a little bit rusty at live streaming? Perhaps. That's okay with me if that's okay with you. I have so many books to look through with you today. Which one is next? Oh, yes, Family Recipe. This one I've read. It can often be a little hard to get your hands on the paperback of this one because I don't know if it sells out or they didn't print enough or what. I had to get mine from the library until I finally got this on Amazon. It's $12.95. It's by Veronica Henry, and I bought it because I really like fiction books that are somehow food adjacent, something to do with food or baking or kitchens, etc. So this one, Laura Griffin is just about to be an empty nester, and she kind of thinks, "Oh, my house is going to be quiet and it's usually been bustling with noise and people and she's going to have to do something." An exposed secret shakes their marriage, and she feels as though her family is shrinking around her. So, feeling lost, she turns to her greatest comfort, her grandmother's recipe box. And I have my grandmother's recipe box. I can't say I cook out of it very often, but once in a while I'll look up. I'm not going to attempt her fudge or her strawberry jam, which were legendary, but I'll look up her chocolate chip cookie recipe. And unlike many families, it's not just the recipe copied off the back of the Toll House morsels bag. That happens to some families, and they're like, "What?" So, anyway, back to the book. She has her grandmother's recipe box, a treasured collection dating back to the Second World War, and everyone's always adored Laura's jams and chutneys, and they've piled their sandwiches high with her pickles. Inspired by a lot of the Blitz spirit, Laura has an idea that gives her a fresh sense of purpose. Okay. So the publisher is Orion, an imprint of the Orion Publishing Group. So that they're a little bit smaller publisher. It could be a little harder to get into this. So she's obviously starts a business and she's selling her grandmother's jams and chutneys. But even the bravest woman needs the people who love her, and now they need her in return. And that's all I can say about it. So it's kind of a modern day chick lit book. And I think this is a good spring read because you don't have to think about it very hard if you're on spring break and you just want something cute to read on the airplane. So that is my recommendation, Family Recipe. I'm going to put the books I've already talked about in a different pile carefully because, and other live streamers on Amazon will tell you, by the time we're done with the end of our live stream, we've just thrown products everywhere. And a lady yesterday was telling me that she had to crawl into her office to start her live stream and start doing it. I'm like, I have to do that too. You guys can't see it, but there's a little pathway of products over here and a bookshelf over here, and I'm kind of climbing over it. And at the end of the live stream, there's books and products all over the floor that we have to clean up. It's funny, but it's worth it. It's so fun. The next book is 45% off today. It's The Book Proposal. I have not read this one. I actually bought it for myself, I want to say at Christmas. When did this come out? Oh, last year. I think I must have thought I was going to read this on summer vacation, and then I did not yet. But I like books about the publishing industry. This one, Gracie Landing is a romance writer, and she's just gotten broke up with. She's broke, and she has a vicious case of writer's block. That happens. We've all been there. So she's a hot mess. She can barely be blamed for drinking one or too few many cocktails. We've all been there. When she's out with her besties, and she's trying to cheer herself up. And in the foggy wee hours of the morning, she emails, don't do this, people, her high school crush, Colin Yarmouth. Don't email people in the middle of the morning, like 2 a.m. after you've been drinking. No, step away from your phone, step away from the computer. Oh my gosh. Well, he's now a successful attorney, and he has a few regrets of his own in relation to Gracie. So, what would a hottie like Colin be like as a grown up? They forge an unlikely friendship that's unmistakably headed for more. Yay! So, this is a contemporary romance, not usually my wheelhouse. So, I think that's why it's taken me so long to pick it up and read it. But I bought it because it's about book publishing. Anyway, Gracie has a fertile imagination, and her current work in progress takes off, and it might kind of be about Colin, and she's borrowing his story, and he's going to find out that she wrote about him, and that's going to get messy, but in a fun way. I'm going to remind myself. So it's The Book Proposal, and it says It's What Writers Do. And the author is Casey Michiche. I don't know how to pronounce her name. I apologize. So it is The paperback version is 45% off today, part of Amazon's big spring sale. You also can read it for free over on Kindle Unlimited if you're a Kindle Unlimited member, and I am because I have so many books I want to read. Now, do we have any Jane Austen fans here? I suspect that we do. Let me check and make sure I don't have any YouTube comments over here on StreamYard. No, I do not. Okay, that's great. No problem. So, next book, if you are a Jane Austen fan, this is Emma of 83rd Street, which, as you can guess, is a retelling of Emma. It's by Audrey Belleza, and I think I want to see. I've read some of her other books, and this is set in modern times. Oh, it says this is a debut novel. Okay. But she also wrote Elizabeth of East Hampton, which is book 2 of For the Love of Austen. And apparently she's planning one more, or she wrote it already. What's the third one? Let's take a look. The third one is Anne of Avenue A. So this is a prolific debut author. Love it. So Emma of 83rd Street. Beautiful, clever, and rich Emma Woodhouse, of course, has lived 23 years in her tight-knit Upper East Side neighborhood. Well, of course, pardon me. With very little to distress or vex her. That is, until her budding matchmaking hobby results in her sister's marriage. So in this book, she has a sister, and her sister moves downtown. So now, with her sister gone and all of her friends are traveling abroad, Emma has to start her final year of grad school, grappling with an entirely new emotion, boredom. I'm sorry, who has time to be bored in grad school? I haven't been to grad school, but my friends that have has complained constantly that they don't have time to actually read books or do anything fun. All they can do is work. So, anyway, so when she meets Nadine, a wide-eyed Ohio transplant with a heart of gold, and I have to tell you, I live in Seattle, and a lot of people move from other areas of the country to come work here in tech. And every time I meet a new person from Ohio, they're the nicest person ever. And I'm like, oh, you moved to a land of rain and gray. I'm sorry. We'll try to be nice to you. We have this thing called the Seattle Freeze. Anyway, Emma sees a potential new friend, but also a new project. And we're not supposed to be nice to people that move to our towns just because we need a project. But anyway, so Knightley also figures in this modern retelling of Emma by Jane Austen. And uh, nothing frustrates him more than a corked whiskey. He and Emma are childhood friends, and she does some shopping sprees and has a revolving door of ill-conceived hobbies, but he's still her friend, even though she's annoying. And he still lectures her on the finer points of adulthood she's hell-bent on ignoring. He might be a mansplainer in modern terms. Anyway, despite his gripes, he can't help but notice that the girl next door is a woman now. One who he suddenly can't get out of his head. So Emma's best laid plans collide with everyone from hipster baristas to meddling family members to flaky Playboy millionaires. This is a fun, delightful read. You're not going to be bored, but if you haven't read the original Emma or watched the movies, you'll be like, I think you would still enjoy it though, because who doesn't love a meddling matchmaker being put in her place? So this is Emma of 83rd Street. I'm going to set it down on my pile over here. It is 40% off today for the paperback. The Kindle is actually more expensive, but I do like watching or reading books on Kindles because my eyesight is getting slightly worse and it's hard to read books in bed at night when it's dark. So that's why I have a Kindle. Around Thanksgiving, I bought myself this next book, Planes, Trains, and All the Feels. The title got me, you guys. One of my favorite holiday movies, and I have a tradition of watching it every year. Thanksgiving is Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. This is Planes, Trains, and All the Feels. It also came out in May 2023, thinking it could maybe be a summer read. So there's a choreographer named Cassidy, and she's the black sheep of her family. Some of us know the feeling. And she vowed that she would do anything she could to get home in time to help with her sister's wedding and avoid family disappointment again. But she never expected that doing anything would involve sharing the last rental car with the jerk who cut her off in line at the airport this morning. Well, that's of course who you have to share the car with. Horrible times apparently call for here goes nothing measures. So she's driving across the country with Luke, who thinks that life can be solved with a spreadsheet. It must be a penance for some crime she committed in some past life. Because the second he opens his mouth, it's all she can do to not maim him with her carry on. But then, as you can imagine, because this is a chick lit romance book, somewhere between his surprisingly thoughtful sharing of his snacks and his uncanny ability to see straight to the core of her, her feelings go unchecked. They have crackling chemistry all of a sudden. It's just one more thing they have to navigate, and it couldn't come at a worse time. So she's going to her, I'm assuming, because I haven't read this yet, that he meets her family and they encourage her to get married because you can have two married daughters. I don't know. It looks really fun, and it's definitely an enemies to lovers type romance, which might not be in everybody's wheelhouse. And the paperback is 18% off today, so not a spectacular deal, but it's still less than $15. And for those of you that prefer reading on your Kindle, it's $7.99. Now, I wanted to mention, as it is scrolling by, we do have a YouTube channel for Cookbook Divas, which is where we talk about cookbooks. Our storefront is at amazon.com/Cookbook Divas. But when I'm talking about products that aren't cookbooks, I'm over at Cookbook Divas Shops. And there's no Instagram for it. It's a YouTube product channel with all the same videos that I have here on Amazon. Just thought I'd let you know about it. Okay, next, a book I'm very excited to read, which I have to carefully take down from my bookshelf. And if it falls down and everything falls, we'll just laugh it off. It's fine. Here we go. Wow. The Queen of Fives is by Alex Hay, and she wrote The Housekeepers, a book it wasn't a comedy, but I laughed and laughed because the housekeepers and all the maids and servants worked to steal from this a-hole rich family. So I enjoyed her writing and the story so much last time around that I was shocked that she very quickly, and I'm hoping Alex is a she, I can't remember. I'm hoping that the author, they wrote this so quickly. Again, there's another book. This one is A Wealthy Heiress or London's Most Clever Con Woman. I have not read this yet. Let me read you through the summary a little bit so you can find out why I'm freaking out. I just love the other books so much. This one is on sale, part of the Big Spring Deal. It's 30% off today here on Amazon Live. It's The Queen of Fives, a novel. A confidence scheme, when properly executed, will follow 5 movements in close order. Number 1, the mark. Number 2, the intrusion. Number 3, the ballyhoo. We're going to have to look that up in the dictionary. I don't know what that means. Anyway, number 4, the knot. Number 5, all in. There may be counterstrikes along the way, for such is the nature of the game. So this book is set in 1898, and Quinn LeBlanc is London's most talented con woman, and she has just 5 days to pull off her most ambitious plot yet. And I'm really a bad person for rooting for the con woman. In real life, I would not con you, but I love reading about them. It's just so fun. Okay. She wants to trap a highly eligible duke into marriage and then lift a fortune from the richest family in England. They had it coming, I'm sure. How dare they be richer than all of us? Okay. So she masquerades as the season's most enviable debutante. She puts on a brilliant act that earns her entrance into the grand drawing rooms and lavish balls of high society. Well, that all sounds fun, but I don't want to have to wear a corset, and in 1898 they were still kind of wearing them. Anyway, she's propelled straight into the inner circle of her target, the charismatic Kendall family. Among those she must convince are the handsome bachelor heir, because he does have to marry her for this to work, the rebellious younger sister, and the esteemed duchess eager to see her son married. Okay, but it's not always easy to convince the mother-in-law that you're worthy of their son. I've been there. I'm still there. Anyway, that's why you don't see a ring on this finger. Anyway, not about me. The deeper she forges into the world, the more that she finds herself tangled in a complicated web of love, lies, and loyalty. The Kendalls, as you can imagine, all have secrets of their own, and she might not be the only one playing a game of high deception. I have a feeling that for me, this is going to be a page turner that I won't be able to put down because I just love stories like this. So I've been hesitating to start it because I have a crazy busy work week coming up. I'm attending Social Media Marketing World online to learn more about social media, and it's going to take every minute of my time. But I want to read this so bad. The Queen of Fives. It is 30% off for the hardcover version. The Kindle version is still $14.99 if you prefer that. That's also, well, that's 48% off of the hardcover price. Okay, so I had to mention that one. Ooh, I should put this somewhere else so I remember to take it to the bedroom on the off chance I can read some tonight, because I'm kind of busy. The next book, we're going to take a quick departure from fiction books, because I wanted to show you the adult coloring book that I got for myself. The Good Witch's Midnight Garden. It's a witchy cottagecore coloring book for adults, and it features lots of mushrooms, cute houses, mystical flowers, etc. And it's on black paper. And I'm going to try and show you the one I colored. Here's a little bedroom in the forest. Let me get my camera set so I can make sure I'm showing the pages. Here's a little cottage in the forest with flowers. Here's a butterfly, bunch of plants. In Seattle, as you can imagine, it's still rainy a lot of the time at night right now, although that's soon we're going to get some sunshine. So we've been spending time at night coloring while I watch TV by the fireplace, all that good stuff, drinking tea and whiskey. So I colored one of these. Lots and lots of mushrooms. They seem to be in right now. Oh, did I just see an owl? Oh, and pumpkins. This would have been a good autumn coloring book. Oh, a raven? What kind of bird is that? I don't know. I'm trying to find the page I colored. I saw potion jars. Look at this cute little house. I love the shape of the roof. I wish my real house looked like that. Little witchy cottage. Okay, flipping through. I thought I colored one of these. I'm sure I did. I can't find it. I should have. Oh, there it is. Okay. So, I need to color more of these. I used alcohol-based markers, but you could use colored pencils or regular markers. And I'll show you the bleed through, because it did. It bled through onto the picture on the back, but that's okay. And I used a piece of paper to protect this next picture of a broom. But it was super fun to color, and it's not super intricate, so it didn't take me forever. And I don't like coloring books that have too much going on where you're like ding, 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 all day. I can't do that. And I did not need reading glasses to see this to color. I thought it turned out very well. What do you think? So this is my new favorite, Myra Rouse, coloring book artist. And there's a couple more witchy ones that she does, and they're all kind of cottagecore themed. So I just wanted to let you know about that fun coloring book in case that is in your jam. And it's $8.10 on Amazon today. I started reading The Teller of Small Fortunes, and it's not the book's fault that I haven't finished it yet. I'm just reading 27 books at the same time. I enjoyed this thoroughly, the 3 or 4 chapters that I started reading. This came out in November 2024. So Tao is an immigrant fortune teller traveling between villages with just her trusty mule for company. She only tells small fortunes, whether it will hail next week, which boy the barmaid will kiss, when the cow will calve. She knows from bitter experience that big fortunes come with big consequences. Fair enough. Even if it's a lonely life, it's better than the one she left behind. But a small fortune unexpectedly becomes something more when a semi reformed thief and an ex mercenary recruit her into their desperate search for a lost child. That's where they sucked me in, because I have lots of books about tarot readers. They're fun, but they're looking for a lost child. They're joined by a baker that has a need for adventure. Psh, they spelled it with a KN, dork alert. And of course, a slightly magical cat. Tao starts down a new path with companions as big hearted as her fortunes are small. But, and the but is the reason for the book, right? As she lowers her walls, the shadows of her past close in, and she'll have to decide whether to risk everything to preserve the found family she never thought she could have. So it's cute. It's a little on the witchier side, the fantasy side. It's by Julie Long, and it is 15% off today on Amazon Live. And it's also available on Kindle and as an audiobook. It's The Teller of Small Fortunes. Let me know what you thought about that. I'm going to set it down here. Move on to our next book. Okay, we're going to do a couple darker books before we get back to the chick lit. and you can scroll through my carousel to see what's coming up, what we're going to be talking about next. I'm going to sip my cherry. Is this bubbly? Yes, bubbly, which is available on Amazon. Okay, the next book I just bought last week, and it came out in the UK first and has a different cover over there, which is a little more murderous looking. Here it is. Knife Skills for Beginners. Okay. Try not to make a mess. Don't fall over, Snow White. I'm going to talk about the Snow White book next so I can take that down before it falls. So this is a darker read. It's described as The Maid meets Knives Out with a dash of Top Chef. It is the debut locked room culinary mystery. It's set in a London cooking school, so I had to do it. And the author was a MasterChef semifinalist, and they're also a cookbook author. So the Chester Square Cookery School is in the heart of London, offers students a refined setting in which to master the fine art of choux pastry and hone their hollandaise. Now, true, the ornate mansion that it's set in doesn't quite sparkle the way it used to, and the chef Paul Delamare is familiar with that kind of. He's worn out and newly broke, and he'd be tempted to turn down the request to fill in as a teacher for a week-long residential course, so you have to stay there, if anybody other than Christian Wagner was asking. Christian is one of Chef Paul's oldest friends. He's also the former recipient of 2 Michelin stars, and he's the host of Pass the Gravy, which I don't know if that's a TV show or a podcast, because I haven't read this yet, and I'm dying to. Thanks to a broken arm, he's unable to teach the upcoming session himself, so he recruits Chef Paul as a stand-in. The students are a motley crew, most of whom seem more interested in ogling the surroundings, including handsome Christian, than they're learning the best ways to temper chocolate. But despite his misgivings, Paul takes the job and he's starting to enjoy imparting his extensive cooking knowledge to the recruits until someone turns up dead, murdered with a cleaver that Paul used earlier that day. OMG. He was using it to prep a pair of squabs. Did one of his students take the lesson on knife techniques too much to heart, or was this the result of a long simmering grudge? In between clearing his own name and teaching his class how to perfectly poach a chicken, he'll have to figure out who's the killer and avoid being the next one to get butchered. This is definitely in my wheelhouse. I'm very looking forward to reading it, but don't worry, I'm not going to murder anyone with a knife or at all. The hardcover is 32% off today here on Amazon. It's not part of the big spring sale. It's just on the general book for sale. Currently, if you have a Kindle Unlimited subscription, you can read it for free, by the way. Good to know. I'm going to set that nearby too. Okay, I'm going to jump ahead to the Little Snow White book so I can stop lifting it off the pile. Oh, I never managed to put the Snow White book in my idea list. Well, let's work on that. Disney Snow White novelization. So I'll add it as we chat. So I saw the Snow White movie opening day, the live action movie. I was very excited about it. I didn't like that at the beginning they have to explain why Snow White doesn't have actual Snow White skin. She's actually named after, in this storyline, the snowstorm she was born in. Okay. They made lots of changes from the original Snow White to kind of give it a empowering women's update, which it needed. That's fine. The novelization, let me add this to my shopping channel. Have to edit my little idea list. The novelization, which I read through in the bathroom until I couldn't handle it anymore and stopped reading it. It's basically I feel like, no offense to the author, they let the author just sit there and watch the movie and type every piece of dialogue into the book and call it a day. There's nothing different in the book. I really prefer the Nightmare Before Christmas novelizations, which are written by a very talented author that adds more to the story and was given some leeway to kind of change things up a little bit for Sally. It was just amazing. Much, 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 much prefer that. This is kind of poorly written, but if you were a kid, and I would get this for a 10-year-old, especially a 10-year-old girl that likes Disney Princess or Snow White, you wouldn't mind. You'd be like, this is great. Okay. See if I can add my Snow White book. There she is. Oh, and that's weird. I don't know why I didn't have the Queen of Fives on my idea list. Weird, because I just talked about it. I clicked on something. Oh, I just added the Kindle version. Okay, pardon me while I talk to myself about my dumb live stream. Here we go. Now I can add it. So I can't say I can recommend this book unless you have a kiddo that's 10. I would not read it as an adult, and I'm going to gift this away as soon as possible because I don't even want to spend another minute looking through it. But I'll give you an example of why I'm whining about it so much. As soon as I find myself in my carousel. Don't know where it is. Okay. Might not be able to add this. Well, good, because I don't really want to recommend it anyway, so you don't have to click on it to buy it. Oh, it does have some pictures. Thank you, she said, taking the mug and giving him a small smile. Together they stared into the trees, with Snow White taking occasional sips of the hot drink. Sleepy had been right, it did make her feel calm. Doc removed his hat and held it in his hands. It's just the movie, word for word, what you would see on the screen. So get this for a 10-year-old that you need to keep busy on an airplane or a road trip, and they'll be fine. I personally don't like it, but I did want to show you the cute little Snow White doll from the movie. Funko Pop, I mean. They're not dolls, but I play with them as though they are. And I bought the Evil Queen too, but she's already sold out on Amazon. Amazon doesn't like us to showcase stuff that we can't actually buy on Amazon, so fair enough. So this is Snow White holding the apple. They also have a Snow White in a plaid dress as part of the set. I didn't buy the plaid dress one because I don't remember when she wore that in the film. And they have two evil queens. One is holding her scepter, and she's in a purple dress. That's the one I have. And the other one, which is available on Amazon, is Evil Queen in a black dress. And I guess I should own them all. So I thought I would take her out so you can see her. She is adorable. Here's the close-up. She's holding the apple that killed her. That's kind of rude. But she's not actually holding the apple that killed her. Apples are a theme at the beginning of the movie, and the villagers are picking them and sharing them and making cakes and pies out of them. So there she is. I'm going to put her up here because she's so cute. Now, let's get back to where we were. I wanted to show you, if you are watching a book TV live stream, you're probably a book lover or a book nerd like me. So I wanted to show you this Pippi Post Book Lovers 2025 wall calendar because it's so pretty. Pippi Post is an artist whose name is actually, I want to say, Alexa or Alexandra. It kind of reminds me of Rifle Paper Company because it's always botanical with florals. And here's February. There's not a lot of room to write your events and stuff in here. It's more like a visual reference. But since I don't have a lot of different things that I would have to write, I could put dentist, 2 p.m. I probably wouldn't use this for all my friends' birthday because I have friends with the same birthday and I write kind of big. So I like the gilt at the top of the month. It's always gold. And then February is kind of pink. And then the bottom has books for April, which is my birthday month. So there's always some kind of books and tea and flowers, but it's a different decoration. But I feel like the Christmas one wasn't very Christmassy. The October one has some pumpkins, but it's mostly red, not orange. So I don't know how I feel about that. November has lots of books, and they still have a pumpkin and a little plant. And Christmas, December isn't very Christmassy, but they are red and green. Anyway, it's a cute little inexpensive wall calendar. My favorite part is the front, but you wouldn't see the front if you hung this on the wall. And this is spiral bound. So there's, like I said, there's only a little bit of room where you can write your appointments or whatever, but that's fine. It's the book lovers calendar. It doesn't have any trivia. And I want to mention that the days of the week start with Sunday. Yeah, like most calendars do. Occasionally they start with Monday and then I get really confused. So that's the Book Lovers Calendar by Pippi Post, and it's 40% off because it's a 2025 calendar and we're already in April, just about, right? I had one more calendar I wanted to show you in here by Rifle Paper. It is 70% off because we're in April just about. Let me see if I can find that over here in my idea list. Okay, where is it? Oh, Yes, it's only $9 now. Wow, that's great. It's 70% off, lowest price in 30 days. It's a 12-month soft cover canvas spiral planner. It's about 6 inches wide, 8.5 inches tall. Monthly and weekly calendar views and a pocket storage folder, and it's 76 pages with this beautiful roses pattern. Rifle Paper Company, monthly and weekly planner. Holidays listed here. Independence Day is obviously July 4. We know. So I'm going to jump into here's February 17 to 23, Monday, President's Day, and lots of room to write. And over here is notes and a to-do list because this is a planner, not just a calendar. Love it. You notice I haven't filled it out yet. Well, I'm trying to show it to you on Amazon, and I don't want to put my private appointments in. They're like dentist, teeth cleaning. So the week of April 28 to May 4 starts off with Monday, ends up with Sunday, has notes and a to-do list, and a little view of April and May so you don't have to turn the page to reference them. I love that. And at the back, we have a little pocket to hold receipts or something, keepsakes, and lots of pages of notes at the back. Love that. What a great deal, $9, 70% off. And it's by a Rifle Paper Company, and they have lots of cute stationery and stuff just like this. Love it, love it, love it, love it. So pretty. I'm kind of a stationery nerd. All right, let's talk about a book I'm dying to read but haven't had the time thanks to work being crazy. Blackwood's Blue Sky. So A01 Ivy wrote a book that I read last year during the snowiest part of winter called The Snow Child. It got rave reviews on Book Talk and BookTube and anywhere people talk about books, Goodreads, Bookstagram, everywhere. It was so good. So this is her follow-up, which is a novel. It's not a sequel. It's just her second book. It came out February 4, 2025. I have not read it yet, but the minute I saw it, I went, beep, grab it. So Birdie's keeping it together. Of course she is. So she's a little hungover sometimes, and she has to bring her daughter Emmeline to her job waiting tables in an Alaskan roadside lodge. But she's getting by as a single mother in a tough town. Still, Birdie can remember happier times from her youth when she was free in the wilds of nature. So she meets Arthur, a soft-spoken and scarred recluse who appears in town only at the change of seasons. He brings Emmeline back to safety when she gets lost in the woods, so that's how he meets Birdie, the waitress. Most people avoid him, but to Birdie he represents everything she's ever longed for. She finds herself falling for Arthur and the land he knows so well. Against the warnings of those who care about them, Birdie and Emmeline move to his isolated cabin in the mountains on the far side of the Wolverine River. And I might not be able to start this right now because in my personal life, I do know someone who just moved in with some strange guy and we wish she hadn't. And I'm kind of like, what are you doing? This is dangerous. So I might have to set this aside for a while because it's too close to home. But I'm still very eager to read it when I can do it. So it's just the three of them in the vast black woods, again, the Alaskan wilderness. They're far from roads. There's no telephones, there's no electricity, and no outside contact. Not the best place to raise a small child. But Birdie believes that she's come prepared. At first, it's idyllic, and she can picture a happily ever after. They're catching salmon together, they're picking berries, and they're climbing mountains. But soon, Birdie discovers that Arthur is something much more mysterious and dangerous than she ever could have imagined. And that, like the Alaska wilderness, a fairy tale can be as dark as it is beautiful. Uh-oh. Whew. So let's check out the cover. There's a bear. I'm guessing it's Arthur, but whatever. And a little girl in the woods. But if he's that bad of a guy, why would he have brought her back to her mom when he found her in the woods? There's got to be some good part of it. Okay, I don't know. So this is Blackwood's Blue Sky by A01 Ivy. It is 36% off for the hardcover. The Kindle version is under $14. And of course, you can get an audiobook of it. I'm going to set this on my read soon pile, actually. There. Okay, we did the Rifle Paper book. Next, let's chat about The Secret War of Julia Child. So I'm a cookbook blogger, and all of our followers love Julia Child, and I love food about foodie people and chefs. So I grabbed this immediately. I was very excited to read it. And of course, it's set during World War II. So World War II fiction history fans are going to want to grab this too. This came out October 22, 2024, just in time for the fall busy reading season, fall and winter. So this is based on fact, but it's a fictional novel, a fictionalized version. Before she mastered the art of French cooking in midlife, Julia Child, when she was younger, found herself working in the secrets trade, or the spy trade, in Asia during World War II. And that's where she met her husband, Paul. It's a journey that will delight both historical fiction fans and lovers of America's most beloved chef. She's single, 6'2" and 30 years old. Julia McWilliams took a job working for America's first espionage agency years before. Oops, I just lost my place. Excuse me. Years before cooking or Paris entered the picture. The Secret War of Julia Child traces Julia's transformation from ambitious Pasadena blue blood to Washington, D.C. file clerk to head of General Wild Bill Donovan's secret file registry as part of the Office of Strategic Services. The wartime journey takes her to South Asia's remote front lines of what was then called Ceylon, India, and China, where she finds purpose, adventure, self knowledge, and love with map maker Paul Child. I'm super looking forward to reading this novel. I didn't make time for it this winter, but that's not anything to do with the book. It means I buy too many books before I read them because I'm a bookaholic, and I suspect if you're watching this show this far into it, you are too. Yay! It's 21% off today, part of the big spring sale. It's a big spring deal. Next, for people that like cozy mystery type books, the Cinnamon Bun Bookstore. All it takes is a little bit of sugar and spice. This looks cute, and it's one of a series, and it came out in autumn, and I think a lot of people just bought it because of the gorgeous cover, figuring they were going to like it. It's by Lori Gilmore. It's book 2 of 5 in the Dream Harbor series. When a secret message turns up hidden in a book in the Cinnamon Bun Bookstore, Hazel can't understand it. As more secret codes appear between the pages, she decides to follow the trail of clues. She just needs someone to help her out. So here comes gorgeous and outgoing fisherman Noah, and he's always up for adventure. And a scavenger's hunt sounds like a lot of fun. Even better than the cute bookseller he's been crushing on for months. So this is a cozy mystery and a cozy romance, and it's set in a bookstore. Yay! Now, Hazel didn't go looking for romance, but as the treasure hunt leads her and Noah around Dream Harbor, their undeniable chemistry might be just as hot as the fresh out of the oven cinnamon buns that the bookstore sells. So the tropes of this book is opposites attract, small town, forced proximity, and he falls first. Love it. That's the Cinnamon Bun Bookstore, and it's 47% off today, dropping the paperback down to just $10. Cute. And look at this cover. It's gilt. It's so pretty. Let me make sure you can see. Love it. Okay, what is next? Let me put this in my pile. Ooh, let's talk about Dashed next. Another Jane Austen reimagining. Let me click on the right one. It's by Amanda Quain. It's 32% off today for the hardback, dropping it down to $14. It's a Margaret Dashwood novel. Yay! It's based on Sense and Sensibility brought to modern times. Margaret Dashwood lives her life according to plan, and it involves absolutely zero heartbreak. Good point. 5 years ago, love tore her family apart, and since then, she's kept her own heart as safe as possible. It hasn't been easy, especially since her sister Marianne, the world's biggest romantic, has conveniently forgotten that love burned her so badly she literally almost died. So when their oldest sister Eleanor invites Margaret along for a Marianne-free summer cruise, she can't wait to soak up every scheduled moment with sensible Eleanor before heading off to college. But just before they set sail, a newly single Marianne announces that she's crashing their vacation. Suddenly, Margaret's itineraries are thrown overboard as the ship's cabin feels even tinier with her sister wailing about her breakup from the bottom bunk. The only solution? Find Marianne a dose of love to tide her over till they reach land. Well, good thing you're on a cruise ship. With help from Eleanor, her husband Edward, and Gabe, a distractingly handsome new friend on the crew, Margaret sets out to create a series of elaborate fake dates that will give Mary Ann the spontaneously curated summer romance of a lifetime. But, and you know there was a but coming, between a chaotic sister, the growing storm of feelings between Margaret and Gabe, and an actual storm on the horizon, this summer is destined to go off course. Margaret will have to decide what's more important, following the plan or following her heart. This seems so cute. This is the perfect summer read. Oh my gosh, grab a copy. It's on sale. $14 for the hardback, $12 for the Kindle. Read this on an airplane or poolside on spring break or summer break. This sounds so fun. Have not read it yet. It came out July 16 last year, last summer. I just never got around to it. I need to read more. I swear I love books. It's also hard to read when you live with someone who isn't a reader and they watch TV loudly. So let's step in for a little nonfiction for a minute. Any Gilmore Girls fans here? This is an autobiography, but I think she had some help writing it, of Kelly Bishop, who was in Gilmore Girls. OMG. I did not know that she was a dancer for decades before she got on Gilmore Girls and was doing some acting. She was in A Chorus Line, Dirty Dancing, which I had not remembered, Gilmore Girls, of course. She played Jennifer Grey's mother in Dirty Dancing. Wow. So I have read through this. I really enjoyed her writing style and the stories that she told. And she was never mean or gossipy or name dropping, just mentioning people she knew. And it's behind the scenes in show business, especially dancing, and how she would get jobs and in between times you don't have a job. And I I want to look up and see if I can find videos of her dancing. I forgot to do that. She had to transition from dance to drama later on, and she married young to a compulsive gambler, and she had some losses and achievements both, and she has a very clear-eyed, she just kind of tells it like it was. She doesn't sit around feeling sorry for herself, which I really like. It was really, really interesting autobiography. I'm glad that I own it. It's 34% off today, dropping it down to 1926. The Kindle version is $15, and that's the third Gilmore Girl, a memoir by Kelly Bishop. And Amy Sherman Palladino, who made the show, wrote the foreword, and it was really interesting to read as well. What do we have next? Oh, let's do a thriller, a page-turning thriller. A Killing Cold. Woo! I believe I bought it because I like reading books about the snow during the snowy part of winter when you can't really go out and you're home by the fireplace. Like, let's read about snow. We don't really get a lot of snow in Seattle. If we do, I immediately light a fire, grab a glass of port, a small one though, because port wine is so sweet, and I grab a page turner like this one perhaps. Let me just find it in my, here it is. Unfortunately, this one's only 20% off, so it's still almost $24 if you wanted to buy the hardcover. Kindle version's $15. So a woman is invited to her wealthy fiance's family retreat and then realizes they're hiding a terrible secret and that she's been there before. What? I have not read this yet. A whirlwind romance. When Theodora met Connor, he's wealthy, charming, and a member of the powerful Dalton family. She fell in love in an instant. 6 months later, he's brought her to Idlewood, his family's isolated winter retreat, to win over his skeptical relatives. Well, they probably think she's a gold digger. And maybe she is. I don't know. Theo has tried to ignore the threatening messages on her phone that say, "Stay away from Connor Dalton." But she can't ignore the footprints in the snow outside the cabin window, or the strange sense of familiarity she has about this place. Then, when she's exploring a disused cabin, as you all would, we would all snoop, Theo finds something impossible, a photo of herself as a child, and it was taken at Idlewood. How did that happen? I've been here before? Theo has almost no recollection of her earliest years. But now she begins to piece together the fragments of her memories. Someone here has a shocking secret that they will do anything to keep hidden, and Theo is in terrible danger. Because the Daltons do not lose, discovering what happened at Idlewood may cost Theo everything. I really hope she's not related to the dude she's been having a relationship with for 6 months. That would be gross and weird. So this came out recently, February 4, Flatiron Books. It's the perfect winter read, but we're heading into spring. But I think this would be a good airplane read too, or your road trip, or you just have somewhere and you just page turn. Oh, I'm looking forward to that. Let me put it back on the shelf. I think we covered every book. We did. So thank you for being here for this episode of Book TV. I would love to do it more often. Drop me a note if you enjoyed it. And I will do it more often over on the Cookbook Divas Shops YouTube channel because I don't want to clutter up Cookbook Divas with stuff that's not about cookbooks. So thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next live stream.